Have you ever seen an internet joke snowball so wildly out of control that national intelligence agencies literally had to step in to shut it down? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating digital phenomenon, the story of the Cockroach Janata Party. We're going to explore how a simple satirical meme account created by a university student somehow grew into such a massive, organized movement that it was officially flagged as a threat to national security. So let's dive right into this absurd yet highly revealing sequence of events.
Our inciting incident kicks off on May 15, 2026. According to the source, the Chief Justice of India was presiding over a hearing when he made a pretty shocking statement. He referred to some unemployed youth as cockroaches who attack the system. Now, context is absolutely everything here. The source contextualizes this by pointing out that this happened during a time of massive youth unemployment, rising inflation, and a highly publicized leak of the NEET medical exam papers. Because of all that tension, the internet basically caught fire. Even though the Chief Justice clarified the very next day that his words were misinterpreted and were actually aimed at fake degree holders, not the youth, while the damage was already done. The spark had been lit.
And man, this timeline just brilliantly illustrates how fast things moved. We're looking at a breakneck speed of escalation here. The controversial comment hits on May 15th. By May 16th, the Cockroach Janata Party, or CJP, is born online. Just 5 days later, on May 21st, the state cracks down and blocks their Twitter account. And by May 23rd, the creators completely lose access to all their platforms. We are talking about a meme going from absolute inception to facing a massive, state-level crackdown in barely a week.
So how exactly did we get from a meme to a movement? Let's look at the birth of the CJP. It all started when a 30-year-old Indian student studying at Boston University named Abhijit Deepke saw the public outrage and decided to channel it into a satirical political front. He literally just tweeted, "What if all cockroaches come together?" and created the CJP. Now, what's really fascinating here is the inherent silliness of the whole thing. Just look at these membership criteria. Are you lazy? Are you online for hours? Do you identify as a cockroach? That was it. Your background, your religion, your gender, none of it mattered. As the source notes, normally, pages like this are just a passing internet trend that fade out in 2 or 3 days.
But the CJP did not fade. Instead, it amassed a staggering 22 million followers on Instagram. 22 million. The page completely bypassed established, officially registered political parties in follower count, and it did it almost overnight.
The source actually highlights that this might be the fastest organically growing social media account in history. It completely dwarfed the established political heavyweights. And the reason for this explosive growth? It perfectly captured the deep-seated frustration of a youth population dealing with serious systemic issues, from paper leaks ruining exam integrity to a real lack of proper wages and jobs. The youth essentially took a derogatory comment and turned it into an identity. They started making AI videos, songs, and even built fully functioning websites all around this cockroach identity.
But then, things took a turn. Let's look at the serious demands hidden inside the satire, what we can call the Trojan Horse Manifesto.
The joke immediately got serious when the page dropped these 5 incredibly specific, highly political demands. They called for no post-retirement parliamentary seats for chief justices. They wanted the chief election commissioner arrested under anti-terror laws if legitimate votes are deleted. They demanded 50% reservation for women in parliament, the cancellation of media licenses for major billionaires like Ambani and Adani, and a strict 20-year election ban for politicians who switch parties. As the source points out, underneath the joke, these demands are actually targeting very real, systemic problems regarding the independence of the judiciary, election integrity, and media monopolies.
And they didn't just stop at a manifesto, they started mobilizing. They launched an active petition demanding the immediate resignation of the education minister over those NEET medical exam paper leaks. Within a flash, over 6 lakh, that's 600,000, people signed the petition, right alongside over 1 million official membership signups on their website. The joke had officially become a legitimate platform for actionable civic protest.
Which brings us to the next phase, the state cracking down and the entry of the Intelligence Bureau.
The source draws a really striking comparison here. On one side, you've got kids wearing digital cockroach costumes and making memes. On the other, you have the official justification for banning their Twitter account. It was flagged, based on inputs from the Intelligence Bureau, as a literal national security threat. The source highlights the rich irony in this, posing a pretty big question. How could an online joke about cockroaches be deemed a severe threat to national security, while actual corruption or widespread exam frauds are not treated with that same immediate, heavy-handed urgency?
Unfortunately, it got much darker from there.
Let's get into the conspiracies, the death threats, and the heavy toll this took on the creator.
According to the source, Abhijit's personal WhatsApp number got leaked, which led to an influx of severe intimidation. Take this chilling message he allegedly received. It literally offered him money to either close the account or join the ruling political party, and then threatened him with assassination in the United States if he refused. And it wasn't just him either. Troll accounts also reportedly targeted his family members back home in Maharashtra with threatening videos and messages.
When physical threats didn't shut down the movement, massive defamation campaigns rolled out. Political IT cells started floating these elaborate deep state conspiracies. The source outlines how they accused Abhijit of being an ISI paid asset, or even part of a covert U.S. Gen Z plot designed to weaken the nation. They heavily weaponized his past, public employment with the Aam Aadmi Party, an opposition political party, framing it as this massive scandal. However, the source notes he never actually hid this information and actively linked his public profile directly to the CJP page.
They even attacked the legitimacy of the movement itself, spreading viral claims that nearly half of the CJP's followers were just Pakistani bots. But Abhijit directly debunked this by releasing screen recordings from his own Instagram analytics. He proved that over 94% of his massive follower base originated domestically, right inside India.
So what does this all mean? Let's zoom out to the broader democratic context and look at what the source calls a pattern of suppression.
This source argues that the extreme reaction to this meme page is symptomatic of a state that actively dismantles any form of opposition. It lists several examples, like constant law enforcement raids on various opposition parties, from AP to TMC to Shiv Sena. It highlights the widespread blocking of independent content creators' videos when they are critical of politicians. And it points to a recurring tactic of labeling any dissenting citizen as a foreign agent. The source notes instances ranging from a prominent climate activist to an opposition leader, all the way down to a 12th grader complaining about exam irregularities on Twitter, all being branded as foreign operatives simply for speaking up. The host of the source material firmly believes that this kind of heavy-handed suppression of a joke page doesn't show a government's strength. Rather, it exposes a deep-seated fear of its own public.
And that brings us to our final point, and a truly provocative thought to leave you with today. Currently, the CJP has regained access to its website and Instagram, though they are still fighting the Twitter ban in court. But the source poses a fascinating question about the future of decentralized digital protest. The page has over 20 million followers. What happens if, tomorrow, all 20 million of those individuals change their personal profile pictures to the Cockroach Janata Party logo and start posting the manifestos themselves? How does any authority censor a movement when the people themselves become the platform? It is a powerful reminder of the unstoppable potential of collective digital action. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it helped you unpack this incredible story.